Don't be alarmed, everybody. Don't be alarmed. Jan has not kidnapped Steve. We shall explain very soon, and there is a very good explanation, which will be um, not hard to believe. We'll see about what we have in store for you. So, Jan, shall we?
Shall we? Let's begin.
We shall.
You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Kessie, ed è gol!
Teo Hernandez al gol! Teo Hernandez, ancora lui, una meraviglia! Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic, fuori classe assoluto!
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, episode 226 to be exact. Here we talk everything Milan, top of the table for now, Milan. And who's getting on that bus now, Milan? And well, we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Yes, it is not Stevie P, it's Yanni B. We're going to go
I guess
with that
it
one.
doesn't work, but yeah, sure.
Vinny T here faithfully. Now, guys, again, don't be alarmed. Everything is fine. We even have our guest in the green room. But Jan, today, Stevie he was surprised. He was surprised because Presidente gave him a call. And it is St. Valentine's Day. And I believe you call it a double date. And I don't know if you want to maybe explain. You heard through the grapevines what was going on with Presidente and Steve.
Presidente, he wanted to really take out his vice president for a night on the town. Obviously, double date. They're going with the respective wives, of course. So Presidente, being the true Milanista that he is, he went and he rented a BMW iX. He wanted to also help the environment on their way. And not only did he rent this BMW iX, they made a little trip down the 40 and they went all the way to Ottawa, but not for the convoy. They went for the Red Lobster. All you can eat shrimp.
So Presidente is splashing the cash. So he brought him to Red Lobster. Very nice. That's a good point. But I don't know about the XI. Maybe it was his 1987 LeBaron with the maroon interior. I think you got that one wrong.
He was looking at Milan's transfer market and he's like, Marcello, what can I do? He was talking to himself. What can I do to make something better for Milano? So he rented a car from BMW because they are the official car sponsor of AC Milan.
But he's bringing it back by the end of the night, so he's saving on the actual.
He wants to save on exactly. He wants to get his deposit back. He didn't go for the extra insurance. He's going to be really, really, really careful on the road.
There we go. And on that note, guys, it is a time to. Martin, you're saying that it's a loan with option for the
BMW.
The BMW. And
loan
welcome.
Option, exactly.
Welcome to Martino, a special guest from the Twitter world. Now, this is the time where you put yourself over, you describe, for anybody not knowing who you are, what do you do? Please go ahead and put yourself over.
Well, Martino, been here this second time. I think it's almost 2 years ago now. It goes by so fast. I think it was right during lockdown before they started back up again, where it was just me, you, as Stevie. But yeah, I'm not a football journalist. Some people like to think that because I have a blue tick on Twitter. This is not true. This is not the case. Never the case. It's mostly betting stuff, so that's probably the opposite of a journalist. But I work for, I don't know if you ever seen this guy, Gary Vee. He's a very popular entrepreneurial type of guy. And I basically work for one of his companies and I do all the football stuff with another guy named Matt Reed. And that's the proper football stuff that you see me tweeting about all the time. So it's a lot of, we try focusing on younger, talented players now because Gary likes to forecast some of the best. And I kept trying to tell them about Rafa. And then we're kind of like on the fence about it because over here, you guys know it. It's Serie A gets more respect in Canada for sure than they do in the US. Because the US, it's like they talk about PSG like they should be talking about Milan. Put it that way. So the popularity thing. So I had to force them to get on the Rafa train, and right before I got on here, they're like, "Yeah, we got to do something on Leao." I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing that for weeks, like this guy." So again, thank you for having me. It's great to talk to you guys again. It's always fun.
And here we go. And President he's live updating us. He went ice fishing with Steve.
He went to pick his own fish. He didn't want to pay
and brought it at Red Lobster.
Exactly. He showed up. Bring your own fish.
Gentlemen, it was, we were talking with Patreon guys at on Sunday morning at 5:45, and we were talking about the week that we've had. We were talking about the results that happened on the Saturday, which we're going to get into after, and how the soccer gods always seem to play against us. A game like Sampdoria. And I just wanted to ask you guys, looking at the starting lineups, and what were your feelings before this game? Were you confident? I know Fabio is more of our cheerleader, and he was hype as AF, as they would say. But Jan, how are you feeling? Were you more like weary of Sampdoria, or it's like let's keep the train going?
Let's start here before anything with the fact that Inter tied against Napoli the day before. Being the fact that Milan has wounded my psyche as a fan for many years, I was anticipating them showing up flat, and no matter what the lineup was, that's already my mindset because of this team. But looking at the lineup, to answer your question, I mean, Messias had to have a good game. I don't think he was particularly great, but that was a chance for him to shine. Besides that, I was happy with the lineup. It was interesting to see Florenzi on that left side, but he looked like me on a 40 plus league on Friday nights trying to kick with my wrong foot. Like, poor guy. I just felt bad for him because you can see in his face he was really mad at himself. But the rest I was really happy with seeing that lineup. So yeah.
How about you, Martino? Looking at Diaz starting over Kessie, people want to read into that, but from the two last performances that he had, we're going to talk about their performances. But do you share Jan's sentiment, or how did you feel going into Sampdoria, nice and early in the morning?
I thought with the lineup quickly, I thought he would have put Kalulu at left back because he did it against Porto in the Champions League. So I thought he puts him in one of the biggest games of the season. He could play against Sampdoria, especially Gianpaolo's. But yeah, I don't know. I was actually really positive. I'm more like Stevie P, if anything. If you were to compare me with somebody, we always say that. But I wasn't nervous about this one. I think that win in the derby and then they dominate Lazio, I think that was like enough proof for me that they know that they have to keep their foot on the gas. Because everybody, there was other friends of mine texting like, oh, we're going to lose this one because it's 1-0. Like, Gianpaolo's here. It's going to be like Candreva, Quagliarella to score some crazy goal. I'm just like, I don't get that vibe anymore. I think that's just PTSD stuff from everything that's happened the past 7-8 years. I was like, yeah. I get it. 6:30 a game, like Benevento was like one of those when their goalkeeper scored the header. We usually play like another side of Udinese that always wins those games. But I don't know. I had a good vibe going into it, and I thought they played well for the most part, almost every single player. Brahim was a little shit. Brahim, I said almost.
Almost everybody. We're gonna get into that one, but the looking at the first half, right? Even as soon as we scored, and I saw on Twitter that it was the first time since 2006. Since a Milan goalkeeper assisted on a goal, and it was Dida back then. And I don't know what the other correlation was against. I think it was against I don't know if it was Sampdoria, but anyways, having that, that high and looking at, Leao, it just, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. This is not the first time he does this move. And I'm like, I'm going back to the past where it's like, how Suso, nobody had figured out his left foot for like 2 years. And it's like looking at Leao, like nobody's going to catch him up. And seeing running directly towards Bagnan, the feelings were high, and then it just seemed that we just And I think even Tonali mentioned it. It just looked like, we were happy, like, with the goal, and it just took their foot off the pedal. I don't know if you guys saw the same thing. Jan, how about you? From the first goal on, it felt like we could have been up, 2-3-0. Just those chances that we were missing.
I do think not that we took our foot off the gas so much as there was just little mistakes being made, like where we could have completed a third pass in a sequence or turned around and made a back pass at the right time. I felt they sometimes went for it a bit too much, and I think that was Macias trying a lot, really hard on his end to try and cement the place back in this lineup, because that right wing position is pretty much open for the taking by anybody on that team, whoever wants to perform there. No one seems to want to perform there. They always keep making mistakes. But overall, I did think it wasn't like a bad performance, but we definitely could have been up by at least by the end of the game 3-0. Maybe not in the first half, but I just felt a lot of little mistakes, and that's what, against a better team that might have cost us. Luckily, there was 16th place Sampdoria, but it was little mistakes, little passing errors I saw.
And from the first half, looking at all the from the first goal, I don't know, did you see the exact same thing as I saw, Martino, or maybe your take on the first half and what you saw after the goal?
I think they were, strictly first half, you're asking? Or
well, let's say, like, I just felt that the team did, I felt they took their foot off the pedal from the first goal, and then trying to bring something up with the substitutions, and we're going to talk about how, that failed completely. And I don't know, like, just tell me how you're feeling about this game.
I don't know. I think it was like one of those mediocre things, because for me, Rebic must have missed two goals. Oh. I mean, the second half was one of those things. I'll give him a break because he hasn't played much since November. So it happens. But there was just one of the chances that was just like you felt like it was automatic finish, and he's just hitting it straight at the keeper. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the goalkeeper's name right now. Pegolo was the guy that was destroying Juve.
Don't worry. The comment will help you out. Don't worry about it. But Rebic, definitely missed a couple of shots there, and Salad Maker, trying that he's
how many
dribbling.
more people did he have to deke before you could take a shot? Like, come on, man.
He thought he was playing FIFA, but I'm not sure.
The one cross that he had with his right foot that just went straight out for a goal kick, I thought it was a deflection. I just like when you're like, there's no Falcone. Yeah. I was like, there's no way he was that bad on the cross, because he was beating his man how many times, and it just like the end product with both of the wingers was terrible. But the good news was, like, at least they're creating the chances.
Yeah, no, definitely. Going from the first half, and I want to take a side note that I'm gonna give my indigestion of the week right now. When Tonali took down Candreva, and Candreva, he's talking to the ref and he's showing his boot. Guys, no word of a lie, 20 minutes after, he's still talking to the ref and he's pointing at his boot still. What do you think is going to do, Candreva? He's going to change his mind? He's going to go give a yellow card? But as the second half comes on, changes are made, right? We thought, Diaz, I don't know if it's the starting aspect, the problem, because he did pretty good, on those substitutions that he came back on. But it looked like the team, the flair was, it was there, and then just missed chances. And guys, let's not kid ourselves. Magna, what did he get? One shot on target. I was just afraid to. Yeah. I'm happy for the win. Don't get me wrong, but I was just afraid a team that is a bit better than Sampdoria might have made us pay for those mistakes, right? Jan, how about you? Would you like second half and the changes?
Second half, I do think the changes helped. They definitely had more chances on goals. Giroud had that chance that the goalie made an unreal save on. Like they had a nice little build up to that. So I do think they did improve in the second half. But still, overall, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, if this was against a better team, of course, it could have gone against us, but it didn't. And I'm happy with the 3 points, and I'm happy that I didn't wake up at 6:30 in the morning for nothing. So I'll take it. And we got to keep this momentum going. Like Martino said, they have to keep the foot on the gas. And sometimes bad performances or like slow starts, like they had against Inter, and you still manage a win, is a sign of a team that's starting to become better than just fluking it out, right? So I think if they can continue these types of performances and grinding out these 3 points, we'll be sitting pretty for at least the end of the year. I'm not saying I'm not on the Scudetto bus yet, but I know going forward, this is what a team needs. They need to start acting this way. You know, you need to start squeaking out wins like Juve did all those years they were dominating the league. They weren't pretty wins all the time, you know.
And it's exactly that I was going to ask you. These are kind of games that that Juventus used to scrape out and win, and in the end we needed this 3 points more than the actual performance, because now we've put pressure on them. Martino, you on the same wavelength as us, and it's like it's mostly the 3 points the most important out of this, because we're looking at the upcoming games. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Defensively they've been great the past few matches. Like, you mentioned no shots really this game. Juve did nothing against our backups. Inter was, let's face it, they were struggling. They got it was terrible marking on the corner kick that Hakan had.
Yeah.
Think about that. I know you could play the same game, devil's advocate, with the Giroud's goal, but you take that out. What did Inter really do in that match that was that great? They were nothing amazing, but again, that's with backups. Tomori's back, and Tomori looked great for somebody who wasn't really playing. There was a couple chances, which is what we kind of forget. For me, I wasn't panicking. I haven't panicked that many matches probably since last season. I think probably the Lazio match was the last time I was panicking, when we lost like 3-0 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Ever since the Atalanta game, I give them a lot more credit, because that was a big mental hurdle that they surpassed. And now, Inter's only beaten us, one time in Serie A these past couple seasons now? I mean,
I think so.
I mean, it was, whatever, Coppa Italia is Coppa Italia, but like I think we're finally getting to their level of not being scared of them, So I think that's a big boost.
But they have Çalhanoğlu. I don't know what you're talking about. They have that secret weapon. I wonder where all those comments are from the beginning of the year.
Is he still he's still in 2021? I think he missed the start of the new year. No?
Oh, okay. Looking at these, you know what? Before we look at these next coming games, guys, let's go with our tops and flops. Milan Post like to do that at the end of the games, but let's go first with our top of the game for you, Jan.
I just have to say Leao for me. I mean, just to be able to pull that off, and I saw him tracking back a lot more in this game. It's surprising one thing about him though. As fast as he is when he's attacking with the ball, he's really slow and clunky when he doesn't have the ball. Like he doesn't. Anyway, I just appreciate that he's doing that more now. So yeah, he was my top. And the flop, I mean, I feel bad saying it. Florenzi's left foot was the flop. Not Florenzi himself. The guy tries hard. He's a pro, but that left foot was the big flop of the game.
All right. How about you, Martin? Who's your top and flops?
I agree with Leao, but I'll put Brahim as the flop. I think I want to see more consistency from a number 10 at Milan. Yeah. And it's no disrespect. Maybe he'll be better when he gets older, but these are the types of games that you need to show up consistently so they don't look elsewhere come summertime, because you could be out of a job.
Exactly. And I'll go with my top, and I even mentioned how Benasser hasn't gotten that much exposure or praise, but Tonali, he did not have the best of games. I think we've just gotten used to him being like above what we're expecting, but Benasser has been a pit bull, guys, and I just love seeing him. It's the last couple of games, even that game against the Inter, guys. If you watch it, he's been on a roll, and Benasser, hopefully, these rumors of him resigning. Flops, Rebic, because for me, yes, I agree with Martino. He didn't have that many games to play, but he was brought on to try to close that game, and I think that's where we failed in that. I just wanted to read out this comments from Pioli. I wanted to get, because you just mentioned it, Jan. Pioli to Sky says, Leao is an exceptional player with great characteristics, but he mustn't be satisfied. He mustn't be content with scoring a goal. If he wants to play 90 minutes, he has to run until the end like all his teammates. Yeah. Bit of truth into that comment. And you think this has to do with subbing him out early? Do you think you would have left him? Or was it just like, let's take a break?
No, I'll take what he said at face value. I think he's probably, look at Giroud. Giroud's always running around. He does that even more than Ibra. That's a guy that's 10 years older than Leao, maybe even more. I think that's the example you have to set. Is if you're going to play in that forward position and you're going to play in a team that activates the ball quickly, you have to be involved in the play more. So I think it was just more of a little friendly
A little
chirp
jab.
a little jab from the coach, which I think is good. In the way that he said it, it wasn't in a Mourinho type way. So I think it's constructive.
How about you, Martin? You think a little jab to the player, and at least his body language is so much different from last year, but nothing. People shouldn't be reading into this, especially if he came out publicly and said it, right?
He's done this a couple times with him because he knows how talented he is. I think he might have been in the summer, definitely last season, where he's like, he's a great player and we're going to count on him a lot, but he needs to do the things that are required of him to start because he's right, because it's very easy for these guys, especially young ones, to think that they're at a certain level and they're good where they're at, instead of like there's another level to it. It's great he got that much better, but it's also been 3 years. As young as he is, there's still so much more room to grow, and it's going to take time, and hopefully he sees that. I don't think he has like a bad attitude like some people would think. I think that's like an unfair thing to say, but that comes with time. I don't think he's ever played this much in a top flight league and season as much as he has so far. So
sky's the limit, right?
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, gentlemen. Looking at, and thank you, Sonny, for this beautiful board. And as I put it, a little side note, as I put at the beginning of the podcast, to David Gorasho, Milan Club Montreal, fellow Patreon, he will be bringing in a new Milanista into this world in the next 8 to 10 hours. So thoughts and with him, and congratulations in advance. Back to these games, guys. Looking at this visually, a lot of us are visual. Looking at Napoli, looking at Inter, I know at first glance, well, look at Milan. Doesn't look that bad, but PTSD, I believe you guys called it at the beginning, right? Inter, has the most charge. I believe these are games until March 30th. At first glance, and your first impressions, or one game at a time.
For Milan, it's at a point like last year. We didn't win these games at this time of the year. This is the crunch time. You got to start winning games now, because the other teams that are around you are usually playing in other competitions. We're lucky we're not really. So you look at Inter's schedule, it's tough. Good luck to them. Napoli, I find it's even tougher because Barcelona's been making some changes. They have a bit more pep under their coach now. Not to say that they're better than Napoli the way they're constructed right now, but it's not going to be an easy walk in the park for Napoli either. So Milan, it's the perfect month for us to make a stake for first place and make me a believer, because I'm still just top 4 for now. And they can easily get away with maybe some lackluster performances and got some wins, but it's ours for the taking. The way I'm looking at it this way, if we got all full points from these games, I don't really care about the Coppa Italia, but the rest I want full points.
We would have nobody to blame but ourselves if we shoot ourselves in the foot,
exactly.
Right? Martin, looking at same thing, visually looking at all these teams, what are your thoughts? And, are you give me one game at a time? I don't care, would it be Salernitana or Cagliari, just give me one game at a time.
I think if you've watched this club closely the past 6-7 years, you got to say one at a time, please. Because they look amazing. Like Lazio, again, to bring it up, Lazio destroyed. We got killed last year, and then we go and beat Juve 3-0 away in Torino. So it's all right. It was Jekyll and Hyde. I take it one game at a time. I'm a little bit more confident with the next game, just because we got that bad result out of the way against them, and we're home now. It's just it's those 2 games against Inter and Napoli, even if they're in separate competitions, the mental aspect of it, say Tonali's already missing the Inter game because he's suspended. How do they respond and play if it's 2 poor results in a row? Because Empoli's not easy either.
No, that's one of the worst teams to get if you just come off 2 losses to Empoli.
So let me reverse this for you guys. Who's got the most to lose here? Inter or Napoli?
Inter.
And do you? I don't know if most to lose, yes, especially in the top 4, but I believe Inter on paper has a stronger team than Napoli. Do they have the players to go through the next couple of matches? But you guys saying Inter has the most to lose, looking at all these games upcoming, because we all know Napoli is capable of blunders, just like us. We're not gonna put it another way.
They could be eliminated from the Champions League this week. They don't even have Barella, and if they're at home, you get beat like 2-3-0. I mean, they got to go away to Anfield, and Barella still he's suspended for both of them. It's I don't know. It really, I think, depends on whenever Correa comes back for them, because I think they're pretty thin up top, because Dzeko gets a lot of minutes, and that's an older guy. Napoli, I think they just have nothing to lose. Like, Insigne is leaving at the end of the season. I felt like that window might have closed already, but I wouldn't be shocked if they're in the race to the end. They're very good still.
You know what's exciting, guys? It's 2 years in a row we actually have a race for Serie A contenders, and it's good. It's good to see, and it's good for the health of Serie A. We're gonna go through some Serie A. Oh, hold on a second. See, Jan, when you replace Steve, you should be on top of things.
I forgot to put play on the song.
You forgot to. It's okay, but we're gonna figure it out, because I know Liban Youssef, he's not gonna go. Him, he doesn't like it where. Hold on, this is. Taking to Serie A other scores. We're gonna take the Patreon questions after. Lazio Bologna. I watched a bit of this game. I don't know what the complaints were about on the Bologna side, but Lazio deservedly so. Jan, did you see any of this? Did you catch the? Because we're all gonna get some busted cultural tweet takes.
I didn't catch the game. Happy for some of my Lazio friends. The 2 or 3 of them that are on Twitter that the team won. I did see some other fans of other fan base tweeting. I don't know. There was some sort of like a yellow or some hit in the face. I don't know. Some refereeing blunder. I didn't really pay too much attention, but good result for Lazio. Keeps them in the race to qualify for European competition. And I didn't watch the game.
No surprises here, Martino. I don't know if you watched any comments on this game, but no surprises here, right?
No surprises. This is this is where like Ciro gets all of his goals against sides like this, and then you look up, he's got another 20 this season.
Yep.
Torino Venezia. I actually watched a bit of this one. I felt so bad for Belotti. I was actually watching it live, and again, Torino is just complete shambles again this year. Tie it up in the last second. He was offside. Venezia come up with their 3 points, battling for La Salvezza. And these are the teams you got to worry about, right, guys? The teams that are battling. Belotti is, I think it was his first time. How long is he hadn't played? I think it's got to be.
He's been off for several weeks. Yeah, months
or several weeks. But Torino, are they gonna probably stay up because La Salvezza is the Belotti's gone, guys? I don't see him staying there. Martino, maybe you. I don't know. What do you think on this one?
He's either heading to your country or he's coming to our club. So it's one of the two, I think.
I like that one. Now for the La Grande Partita del Sabato, Napoli-Inter. All right, guys. So I know you watched this one.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe Napoli couldn't capitalize on all those chances that they had. Brozovic was getting burned by even his actual fans on that penalty that he took. But is this the same old story? Napoli just can't get it done. They had every chance, and they were a better team. Jan, do you agree?
I thought they controlled the game a lot more than Inter. But Dzeko, man, he scores goals for this team when they need them. He shows up for this team. Got to respect the guy. I don't know how that goal went in. The second half started, and it was just like a series of unfortunate events, and it just typical Napoli, I guess. They play a great game, and then they just make one little mistake, and the other team capitalizes on them, and it's unfortunate. I thought they could have won that game, but I'm happy. I'm happier with the result that it's 1-1 for us. So.
It was a perfect result for Milan. How about you, Martino? You watched Napoli Inter. Any comments or what did you think about it?
I mean, I'll take the draw. I was, that is like any Napoli fan will tell you, like that was like the least shocking type of game they played. Like perfect opportunity where they go first place because even if we won, they're ahead of us, and Inter's game in hand. Like that's everywhere where they would want to be, and in typical fashion, either if they didn't drop the points here, they're gonna drop them against some other side that they shouldn't.
And that's what we're talking about. And yes, Verona I did not watch this game, guys. But Udinese, it just seems sometimes, I don't know, you're getting the worst team in Serie A, letting 4 go against Verona. Jan, did you anything from here? Not even highlights, because we know which game we want to get to. But
no, I didn't watch this game.
How about you? Any comments on Udinese, Martin?
I saw it. It's another one of those annoying things, like when Sassuolo lose to a terrible side, and you're like, why do they show up against us?
I know.
Well? Like that's all I gotta say from that. I won't harp on it.
Well, Atalanta, Juventus.
I watched this one.
I definitely watched this one. I'm sure Martino watched this one, and it just seemed that the first half was like nobody wanted to take a chance. Everybody was playing like a true Allegri calcio. Then that fantastic goal, guys. What's his name? Malinowski. Wow, what a dip on that ball! And it's like, okay, this is gonna happen. Then you have, I don't know how that delete thing did not get called as a penalty. He said it hit il petto and it didn't hit his arm. And then, I don't Jan, what'd you make of all this game? And the Juventini is going, whew, that was close.
Yeah, I mean, that was a beautiful goal. What was funny is I'm watching it on Fubo and the announcer is saying he is definitely not going to hit it from out here. Right as soon as he kicks it, the guy scores the goal. He's like, what a shot. I saw on Twitter some Juve fans were turning on their goaltender. And I mean, Szczesny is not the greatest, but there's no one stopping that shot. No one's stopping that, so forget about it. Juve did turn it on after that. I think Allegri took way too long to make any decent subs, but when he finally made the subs, they lucked out. They got a nice corner kick there from the guy that's going to walk away, and that's it. But again, good for us. It's a tie. I would have, preferred to see Juve lose because I was going to see my brother later, and I just wanted to laugh at him. But
you could still laugh.
I still did. Yeah.
But Martino, about a Juventus team with all the hype behind with the signings and this Atalanta team that is half a team right now, this game had no business, right? Like being really tight and until the last second. What are your thoughts on this one?
Juve must have blown, I don't know how many chances through the whole game. There was a lot of them, like Vlahovic making terrible decisions. The link-up plays sometimes where like there's a miscommunication. For me, even if it takes a little bit of time for a guy like Vlahovic to settle, there's certain chances you get in a game that it doesn't matter if you just got to a team. You score that. And I saw a couple of those. And then, I don't know. Yeah, Allegri, I think he was like smiling. He's very odd right now. He was like laughing and so happy at the end when it was a draw. And then after the match, he was saying that, Inter's going to win the title and this and that, whether it's like mind games or something, like the psychological.
He's lost his mind. Yeah, he's lost his mind, probably.
It probably. I mean, listen, I think, because what are you going to say at that point? You have everything going for you. Locatelli's back. You have Dybala, Morata, and Dusan playing in this. Atalanta's not a strong defensive side. They are missing a ton of players. Muriel can't even play 30 minutes without being gassed. It's like if one of us went out to go play.
He looked horrible.
That's the thing for me, because if Juventini, like some of them are saying that they're going to come back and win the title, like go and win this game then, because 1-1 was pathetic if it's coming off a set piece, like in stoppage time. I'll take the result every single time. I don't care who won or lost this game. I don't like either. But, if you're Juve, I think that's drop points again, just like the Milan game. Like, you had to beat that team. Doesn't matter home or away.
To Vince Gattuso, is unbeaten in 7 games that are reborn. I know you're not a Juve fan, but, there's too many, like even Szczesny he could have been sent off very easily. The delete thing and against the team. And against a team like Atalanta in the shape that they're in, they should have easily beat this one. So I know they're still racking up those points, but we'll see what Juventus is going to do. Because I knew Atalanta wasn't going to come out and bend over, right? They had a couple of bad performances. So, Jan, I know. I'm going to jump directly because we like to talk about, the Sette Signorini. Roma Sassuolo. Oh,
wow, what a game. What a game. That
It
was
could
a
have
fun game to watch.
it could have been a meltdown though. It could have been a Twitter meltdown from the Roma fans. I watched it and I when Sassuolo scored 2-1, I'm like, this is just written in the stars for Mourinho and co and all the Roma fans. And I could just imagine how crazy they were going. In the end, they get it done 2-2. But did you enjoy this game, man?
I really enjoyed it. I was checking my phone every once in a while to see a meltdown happen. I think I'm starting to see a change in some of these Roma accounts. They're starting to start realizing they don't have a really good roster, and it's not going to change overnight. So I'm happy that they're like, that they're self-changing, they're self-aware now. So that's good. That's always a nice thing to see. But what a game for to market Serie A. This is a great game to people to watch. It was exciting the whole time. Mourinho on the sidelines, when they would zoom in on him, you're like, this is like a movie or something, like he's just so expressive. So I had a good time watching it, and it was a fun result. 2-2 again. I think this was a great weekend for Milan. Everyone around us are in sniffing distance. Everyone tied. It's perfect.
Very.
There you go.
How about you, Martino? Same thing, an entertaining game, but did you think I really thought Roma was going to lose and it was just going to hit the bottom of the barrel? But your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, no, I like watching games like this because there's always at least a good amount of goals and drama. It's like the perfect Serie A match if you want to get into watching the league.
Mm-hmm.
Right before Juve Atalanta as well. I think that's when it was played. So I loved it. And again, yeah, I mean, Roma got their penalty, so there was no excuse if they dropped points, which there was no excuses. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, Roma, they're really not too far out, but they're not someone I would ever I'm not losing sleep over Roma.
They have some nice young pieces, but they don't have they don't have an identity yet,
What was that?
And it's also to compare to a concert actually. Juve was the main event, and it was kind of a snooze fest game, and the opening band was way more exciting to watch. This was a way better game to market it, but
What was that tweet that time we shared? I think we're 2 years away from being 2 years away.
That was a Raptors player that got drafted, Bruno Caboclo. That was because he was a really raw young player. He's 2 years away from being 2 years away. So he's a couple years away from being decent. So before he could be better. Yeah.
Story of the Roma, and Fiorentina winning today. Piontek missing a penalty, scoring after. Genoa Salernitana 1-1. Fiorentina needs to keep on winning if they want to keep on fighting, especially losing a big piece there. Empoli Cagliari, guys. You know what? I'm gonna take it over to the excuse me, Jen, let me change here the page. So I'm going to take it over to the table, and there's a big battle for for Salvezza. Cagliari guys were they were about to lose. I know on 17th place, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 points difference. We know Genoa is going down. We know Salernitana is going down. But looking at this battle, those game in hand, guys, how much importance do you put those games in hand for Inter, Atalanta, Fiorentina, not that much, but maybe to battle against the Lazio, Roma. But Jan, how much importance do you put that game in hand?
I look at it as 3 points until they play that game. I don't look at it as Inter's. I look at it as Inter's going to probably win that game. So when I look at the standings, I always maybe look at it that way, so that if they do end up losing, I'm so much happier after when they do that remake game. But I always look at it as it's very important, and I don't. No, that's my opinion. I don't see them really losing that game that they have.
They did get news today, Inter, that Il Ricorso, they're going to have to play Bologna. I think they were trying to get
they were trying to get
Zero Tavolino. How about you, Martino? Are you like Jan? You're like, hey, until that game is played, do you put importance? You're not too stressed out?
I'm slightly worried with Atalanta, just because if there was just 4 teams vying for the 4 spots, then I'd be a lot easier on myself. But 5 teams for those spots, I don't know. Atalanta's game in hand means more. I think no matter what, I think if Inter slip up in the Bologna rematch, then I think it's then I'm Jan, then we could say something. But right now, for me, it's I don't give a damn about everyone else, because last time we worry about everyone else and count their points, that's when we missed Champions League by 1 point with the Gattuso team. So I do not care. I do not care. I got to be honest. I'm sorry if that's not the answer. It's
everybody.
it's all about Milan. If Milan keep no more Spezia type matches, then they could do anything. They could win it.
I love it. And shout out to Compadre Franco from New York that when David Fanta, as Steve likes to call him, posted a picture of himself driving a bus, like who all aboard, and Faz replied back with I think it was King of Queens on the couch, like eating chips off the couch. I'm not getting off the couch. And he's going to get off the couch to get onto the bus until it gets absolutely certain. Him and Steve all together. So shout out to Faz that is still on the couch and he ain't moving. Gentlemen, we're going to go to Patreon questions from AC Luda, brand new Patreon member. Thank you for joining. How much longer should Pioli keep trying the Kessie as a number 10 experiment? I thought against Samp, Kessie would drop back and play to hold a 1-goal lead, but that wasn't the case. And does the off-field contract situation have anything to do with his awkward role he's been given? I'm sure to you, Jan. I don't think so, because at one point it was the Diaz situation that he wasn't working out, and we're not going to put Messias there, and we put Kessie.
No.
But to his question, do you the experiment of number 10? Do you think he keeps on doing it, or?
I think with the way that Diaz played last game, you're going to try it again, right? The guy also, you want to get paid big bucks. Now's your time to show it. You're not going to sign here, make that money, go play that game. It benefits Milan if he has a good experience at the 10 role. I think he can do it. I just think his head, the way he came back from the African Cup of Nations, he didn't look too settled, unlike Benacer, who looks like he has something to prove after the way his team played in that competition. So I think he's going to put him again. I do. I really do.
I agree with you. How about you, Martino?
Yeah, I think he has to. And also, like, the point is, like, Benacer Tonali's the future now. I think that's kind of obvious. So you have to pair those two together. Like, listen, this guy put Mete at the number 10 last year. I'm not shocked if he's going to put Kessie. You remember that one?
Oh, man.
That was against Atalanta, too. So he's not scared to do that stuff.
I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to, what do you call when you do PTSD? I'm going to put what do you call it? Copyright. Milanista PSD. That's why we have group therapy session, and you have to come out, Martino, with Mete as a number 10. We're in first place, and you have to remind us about Mete being a number 10. Okay, go on, carry on. But yes, he's continuing.
I get made fun of because of the memory. I can't erase
some things you just can't forget, man. You just can't forget some things.
No, just like we don't forget a lot about some of the lineups. When people post the old lineups from like 2015 or 16, it's like we played with this.
Yeah,
and
man.
It's like Menez as the striker, so
and Kevin Constant.
I think he's going to play a good amount of that stuff because he's going to have to start the derby in the Coppa Italia. And Jan is 100% right. Like, he still has to play for a lot of money. If a team would have absolutely been okay with the money that he was asking for, he would have signed a pre-contract by now.
Yeah.
He's allowed to do that. So obviously teams are still questioning it at this moment. So, a couple bad performances here and there, it costs himself and his agent a lot of money. So he's got no choice. And even last year too, like Hakan, Gigio, they probably knew that they weren't going to stay, but they put up their best efforts every single week. And that was the banner. Didn't the banner say something like that with Curva Sud? Obviously, don't speak great Italian. So.
Well, Curva Sud did say basically, I think I have the picture here somewhere. The exact wording was, who did I send it to? Did I send it to you, Jan? But it's basically, the ones that love Milan, right, will show it. And the ones that don't, a cordial goodbye, a cordial arrivederci. So for that, and they were right. But I'll give Pioli kudos that he did come to the defense of. He's like, yes, I heard the whistle. He's like, right now, I'm not concerned about contract. I'm concerned about training my best players and put it out there. And it's unfortunate, but guys.
They're professionals.
We've accepted
used to getting whistled. Exactly.
From Fabio, hey boys, first I want to thank Vinny for always being awesome and waking up early for our therapy sessions. You know how badly I need them. My question is, why doesn't Pioli try Rebic on the right side or try possibly to change formation when Diaz isn't playing well? I don't know if that's an option, but Kessie or Krunic at cam is not working for us. Keep up the good work. As always, Forza Milan. The changing formation, I think we've spoken about in the past, but guys, we'll be using this formation for what? It's more than 2 years, right? So that's never going to happen.
No.
But Rebic, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, was playing the right wing with Croatia during the Euros. I believe I had read that somewhere. But you think there's a reason why he doesn't try him?
He must see something in practice. I mean, they must try different combinations, and I mean, it's fine to have ideas. I mean, yeah, why not try Rebic on the right side? But there's something about the work rate of Macias and Salamakers that I don't see as much with Rebic. He's a bit more clunky. Like he has his aspects that are really good. So I think Pioli's just going with what works and what's going to benefit his system better, with the guys that track back, that can, make those outlet passes. Sometimes Macias, not all the time, but make those outlet passes and work harder in a group. It's more of a system that they have going, right? And these guys are being plugged into different roles. And that's why I think Kessie gets put in the 10 role, because it's not his natural position, but he's a smart player, right? He started off as a center back at Atalanta, progressed his way to the midfield. He knows how to play. So a player like that can play in that role, but I don't see Rebic. I mean, I'd like to see him try it. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I mean, if he's already saying Leao doesn't have the best work rate for 90 minutes, why are you going to put his backup option on the other side? Because then you're going to potentially be stuck with Salamakers on the left, and everybody can't tolerate him on the right side. So
that's a good point. No, that's a good point there. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. And you know what, guys? He is a coach, and he's much more smarter than us about the tactics and players.
Yeah,
so
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Gio saying, "Keep up the great work, guys." Vinny, you are a trooper, waking up that early for a group therapy. Gio, it was 2:45 in the morning for you, and you're thanking me that I woke up at 5:30. But you guys are the troopers, and thank you. He says, rumors are saying that sneaky agent Mendes wants Leao to get $6 million a year. Do you think the club would give him that salary? Can't wait for the show. It's a great way to end a hungover Monday. Gotta love the rumors. But if the rumors were true, that when it would come to negotiation, would you pay $6 million for Leao? Jan?
At this point, I don't know. So it's 12 million out of pocket, right? 6 million clean. That's I don't think he's there yet. I'd be comfortable with giving him like a 3.5, like a season, like just to keep him like a bridge contract, as we say in North American sports, like 3-4 years. But if you want 6 million, man, ciao. Like, we'll make a nice penny off you. That's a lot of money for a kid that's just starting to show some consistency. Like, he's a great prospect, and I love him, and I don't want to sell him, but like, no, I if that was the true rumor, I would be out. Sorry, can't do it.
Martina, how about you? Like, looking at a guy like Theo Hernandez that has had as much bigger impact than Leao because he's been more consistency. He's had his bad games, but what is he making, guys? 4.5?
4.5.
4.5. So if you got to look at in that perspective, what would be your max out for Leao?
So, these contracts, it's always funny because we see them how many times in North American sports? Like, you pay for what you think the guy is going to do.
Yeah.
In 2025, is Rafa Leao going to be a player that is worth 6 million euros per season? Maybe. If he keeps going like this, he's probably worth 10 million euros. He could be one of the 3 best left wingers in the world. I think he's worth 4.5, right around where Theo is. Because 1, you're playing with that type of agent. 2, I think the upside is just so insane that if you also, like, you could get yourself in a Donnarumma situation where you bumped them up for so much money for 6 million euros. Like, the next time that contract's up, they're going to be wanting even more. Maybe at that time, Milan is stable enough where it's not a problem. There's probably new ownership at that point that are going to be worth even more money than what Elliott is. Like, I don't know. I think Skira was saying they're with great confidence that they're moving forward with it. So I trust them to get a good price. I don't believe 6 million euros though. I don't believe that for a second.
If we didn't have rumors, guys, what else we would have to talk about, right? Paulie H. Good evening, Vinny and Steve. Well, to Martino and Jan, we seem to be playing better with Giroud up front. So my question is, when both Giroud and Ibra are fit, available, who is our number one striker that should start?
Giroud.
I would go Giroud, yeah. I mean, Ibra's last few performances, I know he's trying out there, but he wasn't getting the job done. You can see it in his face. I think he's kind of seeing like
He's
he's realizing it, and I don't think he's gonna make a problem once he's healthy. He wants the team to win. He wants the team to do well, and Giroud is gonna carry that torch of being the veteran striker next year.
Ibra coming on as a super sub, maybe, and nothing taken away from Ibra. He's a big
even
factor in our rebirth. How about you, Martino? You with Giroud?
Yeah, Giroud. I was trying to count the hockey assist for something. So I went back to go see some of the goals. The Fiorentina game, when he scored one of those goals, like the way he was moving, I was like, this isn't the same player. And even that guy's not even moving that quick. So now he's got Achilles. I mean, man, I feel bad because he's done everything, and I think he deserves a chance to at least see the season out and contribute some more. But Giroud's showing to be invaluable at this point with almost all the little things that he does: his hold-up play, his heading of the ball. This is a guy that was starting on a World Cup team that won, and he didn't even score. I don't even think he had a shot on goal for that team. So, that's how good that guy is, that he doesn't need to score to make an impact.
And her stats are better when we did not have Ibra.
Yeah.
They pull up those stats.
I don't think they've lost a game when Ibra's not playing. That's
we still love you, Ibra. Don't come after us. We still love you, buddy. Derek, would you say Napoli is a decisive game to judge whether or not we are contenders or pretenders in the Scudetto race? When is it time to pack my bag and jump on the Scudetto bus?
Yeah, I think Martino mentioned it earlier. You win that game against Inter and then the game against Napoli, you can start believing at that. I think,
I don't know.
Coppa Italia set aside, but you need to...
Well, you'd be going to a final too, which would give you more motivation, I find.
That's true.
Even though I don't care if that's the only game we lose all month, is that derby? I don't care because we would win all the Serie A games. I think...
It's also 2 legs.
Oh, it's 2 legs. That's true.
Which I don't get, by the way. They changed it up.
That makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense.
I don't know why they do that.
Are we really excuse me, General? Are we really debating Serie A making sense?
No, never.
But we get an extra 2 derbies. We're getting an extra 2 derbies, so we'll take it. Yes. So you think Napoli? They're playing exactly. Hold on, let me see if
it's like March 8th or 7th because I know it's right around then.
So. Well, we're not professionals, nor do we pretend to be. Fixtures. So, where are we? That is in March. So you have Napoli, Milan on March 6th. That would be So we have Salernitana, Udinese, and Napoli after that. So
you have Inter right before the Napoli.
It's hard to argue, Martin. This is it definitely probably a decisive game, right?
I'm so hesitant. I'm like Franco and Stevie. Get back to me if Italy got eliminated from the World Cup qualifiers. Right around that time, I could tell you a definitive answer. Because that's for me, it's like Inter. I don't even know when they make up that one game too. So
what are you talking about here? Hold on.
The Scudetto hype train, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, I thought you were answering one of the comments there. Yeah,
I didn't.
It's the Napoli. So it's the Napoli game to you. You're not gonna say that's
later. Too early for me. I don't trust them enough yet.
Derek's got he's got another one. He's got 2 more. But do you think Milan will retain Leao services? It seems as though he is drawing interest from big clubs. I think they will retain. I don't think there's even a question. And like people are saying, and even Faz was saying, depending on the price that we pay him, we'll show if we need to sell him or not. But guys, if he is, somebody's going to come knocking on the door for 80, 90 million. How could you say no to that, right?
No one came knocking with 80, 90 million for Donnarumma. So, we can dream up these ideas that someone's going to come knocking with that kind of money. I don't know if it happens.
It just feels like we don't take a step forward as a club at that point.
Yeah.
It feels like a step back. Because Juve, even when they weren't even competing or going to the Champions League finals, they were still keeping the top players that they had. Like, if we get rid of a top young player like that right when the project is kind of starting, I don't know. That's PTSD of Thiago Silva and Zlatan leaving. That just reminds me of it. Because, right when we get a world-class talent and he's starting to become, not a superstar, but one of those like faces of the next generation potentially, and he's sold, like, to me, that's just like that's a bigger sucker punch than finishing second and keeping him.
Very good.
The title.
Gillis, first off, it's Valentine's Day. What are you guys hosting a podcast stream tonight when you should be out whining and dining and making sweet love to your beautiful wives and girlfriends? Well, I'm over
the
here.
podcast.
They're going to do it after the podcast. I'm going to go watch wrestling after the podcast. Martino, I don't know if he's got, but Stevie P and the Presidente, they're taking care of that. But he's saying, but since you're here, I've been thinking about this for the last days, and I'll ask you guys too. Milan is at 55 points and has 39 possible points remaining. Atalanta is currently in fifth, 11 points back, but have a game in hand. What's the magic number of points to secure a top four? I'm thinking about 80. Was 80 last year, guys?
No.
Who Juventus finished fourth with? No, we finished with 81, I believe.
I was going to say the benchmark the past few years is like 70, 72 points.
I think they had 76 or 74 Juve last year, 70, 77, something like that.
I think 80 is a bit high, but the way everybody's been playing, but what would you guys say? High 70s or low 70s?
76.
76. High 70s.
Juve was 78.
There you go.
78. Guys, the way...
Yeah, I mean 80. I mean that's a good odds. I mean I would take the under on that.
We don't have that many tough matches. That's the beautiful part. We got 3 massive games out of the way so far.
Milan's driving their own bus. It's up to them. Nobody else. It's really in their control because if they can string together win after win after win, the pressure mounts on these teams that are playing in other competitions, and then it's up to them to deal with their pressures. We can't sit back next game. We gotta.
That's right. And to Brandon, yes, Brandon, that's a fantastic pay-per-view. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, 1999, when Vince McMahon, and then it was in the cage, and then the Giant came out, and it's like, yes. I got a little. Speaking of Brandon, and I know Brandon, this is you, Fade to Black. I hope I'm not confusing names, but hey, guys, hope all is well. I'm sure it's much colder up there than it is in Philly right now. Anyways, what is both of your ideas, signings for defensive midfielder forward department? Also, if you guys are looking for another intern or need some content ideas, I'd be glad to help in any way with topic ideas and other stuff. You know that President is listening right now, so let me repeat. Also, if you guys are looking for another intern or need some content ideas, I'll be glad to help in any kind of way. I appreciate it, dude. We really, really do. We will definitely reach out to you if needed. But who are your dream? He's asking your ideal signings.
I like to shop at Walmart in Lille. That's my favorite shopping center in the world. So I'm hoping we're going to get a trio from Lille. Jonathan David, Botman, and Renato Sanchez. And hopefully for under 120 million altogether. And we parle. That's it.
All right.
Martino, still doesn't answer the right wing side, though. But I'd be happy with those 3.
I'm going to just put in Berardi in there. I'm it's ideal. I'm not, I need to think not with money, but first player they said this year in all top leagues to score 10 goals and 10 assists. I do on Twitter sometimes. I do read some stuff. But Martino, how about you? Ideal signings?
Ideal? Yeah. I mean, I think 2 of those are almost a guarantee if we make top 4. Jonathan David. I mean, listen, man. I wish. I don't know. I just don't. To me, I feel like it's going to be. I was asking this question to a couple people, and I know I'm not Patreon, so I can't. But it was, get Belotti on the free on top of those 2 Lille guys, and then you use money on right wing that you have left over.
That could make sense.
And you still have Giroud, you have Belotti, whatever Lasatic can give you. I'm not expecting too much. Obviously, he's a kid, but if we could, put those resources elsewhere and save some transfer money. I mean, I can't do this Salamakers right wing thing. I respect him. I know what he brings to the team, but I can't do this. We view Milan as winners and champions. You're not winning a Champions League starting Salamakers. No.
I don't even think you're winning a Champions League group starting Salamakers.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
And Steve keeps always talking about, that kind of depth is that, even though we didn't do too bad in the Champions League, imagine if we had those quality guys. Look at Inter's depth when they came on, even though they screwed up. But look at the players that were subbed in, and us were subbing on who? Salamakers, and I don't know if you guys noticed, Castileo almost had a heart attack. He was warming up at the beginning there when but no, definitely good answers to those, and we'll get back to you, Brandon. Derek, I like his last question. Gentlemen, if you could bring back any retro kit for Milan to use next season, which one would it be?
I think one of the one I'm wearing right here, nice and clean.
I got one in my closet I could grab real quick.
I'm gonna go with the. I don't know what year. If Facebook Frank was on or Tommy, he would probably give me the exact year and the date that it came out. But it's got to be the Mediolanum in the 80s. That
there
one there.
Go.
But me, I'm talking about the white one with the red and black stripe in the middle.
That's the away jersey of that.
The away jersey of probably.
This one here is 89, 90 or 90, 91. That one there is 88, 89, I think.
The Centennial jerseys, glory.
Gio
Yeah,
would know. Gio's probably going to correct us in the comments.
Yeah, but me, it's that one. They made I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. It was round neck, Fly Emirates, and they had the red and the black stripe in the middle, and it just took me back to that one there. So that for me is a classic.
I hope I didn't curse us because this one here has a Scudetto on it, so I don't want to make like next year they should make a jersey. I'm not saying that we're winning. I just want to jinx anything. PTSD.
Now you see you're drawing attention to it. But thanks to Patreon, Twitter has nothing, gentlemen. So you know what time it is. Martino, welcome to your first ever Busted Calcio tweets. And basically what we do here is that we don't attack anybody. We just poke fun. We laugh. Hey, I'm sure we've had busted Calcio.
I've had many.
You've had many. So Jan, I know you scoundered the internets, the Twitter machine, and let's see which 5 tweets. And guys, you're gonna be Faz too. By the way, we're talking about jerseys. This guy has about 732 jerseys over there in New York.
Bella Madonna.
He's got beautiful ones. But let's go with some busted takes. So. First one here you have, Jan, from Juventus Abroad. Good morning to everyone who knows Vlahovic is, what is the exact terminology? Better than Haaland?
Greater than
Haaland.
I mean, this is just Juve. I don't know if this is a troll account. I never came across them before, but I'm just like, are you serious? Vlahovic, great young talent, but he's nowhere near what Haaland is already. Like, come on. Like, has Vlahovic even played in the Champions League? No. The guy's like, come on.
Zero European competition.
But why do you ask for the hate after? First off, these are 2 great young strikers. Well, one's clearly ahead of the game here. Come on. Haaland is like wanted by teams.
Who's better than Haaland right now?
It's very hard to give me. There's nobody.
Just Lewandowski, that's it.
Yes. But he's older, so he's not going to go for the same amount of money that a Haaland is going to go for.
Listen, they don't say this if Vlahovic went to another club.
No, never.
So that's
good
all
point.
I have to say.
I like this. Is a good, but Haaland is a generational talent. Very well said there, Joel.
Yeah.
So this one, yes, cringe-worthy. Thank you, Jan. What do you have for us next? And guys, I like not looking at the slides beforehand.
I didn't look at them beforehand. Huh?
I did not look at them before. So slide number 2.
Next.
What do we have? Sell Rashford for 120 million euros. Buy Leao. Pounds. Sorry. Buy Leao for 30 to 50. The 2 players are very similar. Rashford is a better shooter of the ball. Leao works harder and isn't selfish as
So like if Pioli would read this tweet, do you think that the guy actually watched Leao play once? If Pioli has called them out at least twice that we can remember about the guy having to work harder. So, like, first off, it's like you're talking about a player you don't know anything about. You just saw a few highlights. And because you're a fan of an EPL team, you think the world is like a PlayStation. And your club is going to go around and just buy anybody they want. Oh, and they're going to sell Rashford for 120 million. But que está fumando? I don't get it. It's just, but I guess I don't know what they're talking about because I don't support an EPL team. So I can't dream up these scenarios. My team is nickel and diming every move that they make. So, like,
in which world, Martino? Maybe I'm not the most knowledgeable guy. I follow my soccer, my PL, but in which meta world, as the kids like to say nowadays, does Rashford worth 120 million pounds and Leao? Like, how do you even?
Probably the only accurate thing here is maybe Rashford being a better shooter. But listen, EPL fans, I don't know if you guys follow baseball. Basically, EPL fans, the whole league, every fan acts like a Yankees fan, where they think every answer is just money. And like, I can get this guy. I could sell my guy for all this money and you give me everything, but I don't have to pay you a dime. And that's what this is. You have to buy Rashford for 120 million pounds. And first, like 30 to 50 million. That's such a like, I don't get it. That's a massive gap. We paid like 30 million for him.
Yeah,
so
exactly. He's worth at least 60 pounds, British pounds, million. Like
EPL equals Yankees. Okay, thank you very much, Martin, for
very good analogy. Very good analogy.
What do we have to number 3? And the guys are commenting that they want some sound bites and some. What did he say?
I gotta get a soundboard going.
Oh, a soundboard. Yeah,
maybe like
yeah.
I'm choking just reading this stuff. Piers Morgan. You might want to suck up to him for whatever reason, but Beckham was the most overrated player in history. Wouldn't have got onto the Arsenal invincible bench. This is an answer to Gary Lineker.
Yeah,
the most overrated player in history. Okay, what?
I mean,
Jan?
in this thread, it degenerated a bit. I know even in the Milan chat they were talking about it, like saying how Beckham, he's not as good as Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, those players. Maybe not. But to think that Beckham, and he was pretty much in top form when Arsenal had that Invincibles team, that he would not even touch the bench, just shows how arrogant Piers Morgan has become and has been for several decades now, with his love for an Arsenal team that had that great Invincibles team and did nothing after that. I mean, and to think that one of the better players that England produced in the last 40 to 50 years is not going to, like, how you're not going to bench Beckham? Are you serious? Come on.
So the Invincibles was 2004, right? When they won it. And then remind me where David Beckham went and who he played with right after that?
Milan.
Real Madrid.
No, it was Real Madrid.
He played at Galacticos with Ronaldo, Zidane, and all those guys. But sure, he
and Cassano. I think Cassano was there too.
Yeah, he had a couple of tiramisu there on the side. And what did he say about his time at Real? He goes, I used to be with hookers every night and stuffing my face with sugar, and I wasn't up in shape. But it wasn't your fault, Cassano. It was everybody else's fault.
Everyone else's.
So yeah, Piers Morgan. Yeah, that's a busted calcio tweet right there. Next, what do we have? Number 4. Le 5 cose che non sai di Dennis Zakaria, il nuovo Cruz, che fa la felice. So, this is the new Tony Cruz.
According to calciomercato.com, they love, I don't know why Italian newspapers love to make these comparisons, like when Milan signed Piontek and they had him compared the head of Shevchenko, Kaká's dribbling, this and that. They did the same thing with with Vlahovic this year, with like giving him Battistuta's left ankle and all these stupidities. Now Dennis Zakaria, I like the signing for Juve. They got him on a nice deal. He has a lot of upside, but holy shit, Tony Cruz, you're gonna start comparing him to already, like, why do you even have to compare these guys? Just say the 5 things that you don't know about Dennis Zakaria and why he's making Juventus fans happy.
He's not a Uruguayan Pirlo, but he might be the new Tony Cruz.
The German,
right?
Yeah, he might exactly. He might be
Martino, did you come across this one? I know you don't Italian, but this one you could definitely understand.
I'll be honest with you. It's not to be disrespectful to any Italian newspapers. I don't read anything that isn't Di Marzio. I really don't. I think everything is just complete bullshit.
And this is a great example, right? Il Nuove Cruz from there. And last but not least, Jan, what do you got for us here?
I'm putting this one in as my busted tweet of the week. Now you guys can
Mina Ruskis, how long do we have to wait, or rather, how many goals does Vlahovic need to score to be regarded as up there with the best of them? Asking for a friend. What a player! 2 goals in his first 2 matches.
Really?
So,
and I saw that goal in the goal. Yes.
2 things I want to point out that already pissed me off with this tweet. Asking for a friend, stop with these cliches in your tweets. King, 2 of them, 2 cliches in your tweet. 2 of them, 2 cliches. That just makes me want to barf when I read it. Beyond that, I don't know this person personally or anything. I know she follows sports and she's a big Juve fan, and she has sometimes like these over exaggerated tweets that I think maybe is to get more interactions. But the guy scored 2 goals. Granted, he's played great games for you guys. To be regarded as one of the best, we're going to start putting him up there with some of the, with the Vieris of the world and some of the best strikers in Serie A. I don't know why I just came with Vieri, but there's more Shevchenko and all this. Like, were you going to say that like after 2 games?
Did you guys see his goal in the Coppa Italia?
Yeah, that was just gonna say. That's why I put up the one finger.
Yeah,
because it was one goal. If he
That's
hit,
true.
he hit it with his right foot, that was going over the bar. That was a lucky deflection to go in. So that's even then.
But I don't want to come off of saying like he's no good. He's a great young striker and he had great performances. But why think this? Like, what are your expectations? Do you watch soccer? Do you watch football? Do you watch calcio? Whatever you want to call it? What have you been watching?
She watched the Atalanta game. That nice little dive that he took over there. I thought that merited a yellow card.
Yeah, but he got up right away after that too. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. You know, he is new at Juve. He hasn't perfected the art of diving. Dybala will be teaching him better ways to dive. He probably felt embarrassed, and he bounced up pretty quickly after that dive. Though.
All right, so that's the that's what we have. And what's the one that I sent you yesterday? Was it that one there? No, I believe
it was that one there. Yes.
Yes.
No, it was a 120 million euro and pound one. That one, the one you sent me.
Okay, so
there was one, by the way. Someone used
me.
the hashtag, and then they had sent it to @BustedCalcio. And before I was able to open up the tweet, the person deleted their tweet. So people are catching on that if they're getting tagged or they're getting the hashtag, so you can send it to me in DM send a screenshot.
Okay, so I found one. This is the one I sent you from @B is Interista. Translated. Abraham's simply the best number 9 in the league. Milan don't have one like that. That's why I often say that Roma on paper are the second force in the league after Inter. So thank you for clearing this up for us, that Roma on paper is the second best team in Serie A, because I wish I had a number 9 like Tammy Abraham, but please do not put Roma as the second best team in Serie A. That one I found quite amusing.
On paper, the game is played on the field, so that's why maybe Roma's having a hard time.
Guys, let us know who's going to be winning this busted calcio tweet. Presidente is already, counting all the ballots coming in. But gentlemen, let's finish off with our prediction. Not our predictions, but we need maximum points, right? And we need to keep on this high. Maybe some closing words. Jan, what do you got for us? And you're getting a little fandom there. I could see the fandom.
Thanks for having me on again. It's been great the last couple of weeks as your intern. It's been fun. Steve and Presidente, I hope you guys had a nice romantic dinner and then a nice ice fishing. And I just look, like Martino said, I mean, yeah, you're right. One game at a time for this team. It's happened often that they get ahead of themselves and they drop the points. But I've seen positive things. I just think they got to clean up a little bit in their matches. But I mean, I see it happening. I see us winning most of these.
Am I seeing you Saturday?
I am working Saturday. I have to train a group of people. Sorry.
All right, so I'm not going to see you on Saturday.
No, you're not going to see me.
Martin, how about you? Give us some closing words. How you feeling? And you don't look too stressed. The PTSD hasn't kicked in yet, but give us what you got, buddy.
For what, Saturday's game or this weekend's game, or
you're closing, maybe like you're at church. It's
a
closing sermon. Like, give us rile us up.
I think Tonali is actually the leader of this team. Whether some people, I really, really love the way he carries himself. Just like all the little things, like the Dumfries fight, or argument, whatever you want to call it. Just his posts leading up to the derby was the right mentality, because he understands what it means. And I think he's actually been our best player. I just think everything about him is, I think if all goes well, he stays healthy, he'll be in that conversation with the Seedorf and Pirlo types one day. But it's a long way away, but one game at a time. They're already better than last year, right? Because this time last year was over. Right at that point, after the Coppa Italia match. I hope best case is a double. I think that's not out of the question either. I think a double is still in the question. Worst case, I'm okay as long as it's top four. I won't be pissed off because top four is just the only thing I was worrying about going into the season, and it's all I'm primarily worried about for now. Until we get closer, I'm probably gonna say like April 1st will be like the day. I think that's Sedor's birthday, right? Isn't he? I
think it is.
It's like one of those days. Him and Galliani share the same birthday, I think.
Those are like, beautiful words, especially like the way Tonali has come such a long way. And looking at Steve, the way he used to trash him the whole season, and look at the way he came back out. And for me, thank you, Steve, because it's
Busted Calcio tweet. I remember that one.
And I will say one thing, Monsieur Magnan, merci énormément. Tu es numéro un dans nos cœurs. You're number one in our hearts. You're showing, even with your tweets and your posts on Instagram, que sei un vero milanista. Maldini, I don't know how you got that for 15 million. There's arguments that I don't want to say they're right, but arguments are being made that he's better than Donnarumma. I think it's way too fast, early to say something like that. But Magnan, merci beaucoup, honestly, and for what you've done for this team. And you guys who want to talk about, like MVPs of the season, he's been standing on his head. So thank you very much to Monsieur Magnan. And if I may say, gentlemen, a collective brioche, something that made us feel good, to Mr. Massara. His reply to the journalists, where we've forgotten about it. We don't want to talk about Donnarumma anymore. He gets questioned, and his answer was, well, yeah, obviously, right? It was common courtesy after all the offers that were made and that he refused. It was common courtesy that we had signed somebody else. So Massara, thank you very much. Yeah, and you know what's gonna happen? Presidente is gonna text Martino. We can hear your mouse throughout the whole podcast.
Is it?
Oh my
goodness!
I am gonna have to work.
I was trying to find the Tonali quote that he said. I'm sorry.
He talked about how he was happy that the fans are happy to come back to the stadium because he knew how hard it was before.
That's
with the weird, and he's really happy for them. And it shows you that he was one of those guys coming to the stadium with his, with his family.
That's the exact thing.
But Martino, you have to remember, Steve trashed on Tonali and he trashed on Leao, and both of them, look what they became. So, excuse.
Maybe Presidente is sharing tweets with Milan Entertainment Department over there. He's getting them in there, passing the messages.
He's Presidente's deep throat. He's the one giving out all this information.
Exactly, and he has a stunt double too, Marcel. It's not Marcelo. Marcel. Gentlemen, thank you very much, Martino, to joining me again. Thanks for covering for Steve.
Of course,
we will see each other. Saturday's the game. We're gonna do a pre-game chat because the guys like to do that. And on Friday the 25th, they're playing, and it's my birthday. So we'll see if we could do like a new special from there. But guys, thank you so much.
I might have to call in sick that day.
We're not live on YouTube with all these views there, but guys, thank you so very much once again. Ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.